Every masterpiece starts with a dream, and it's up to us to bring that dream to life. In November, I was commissioned by a museum to create a piece, and this is the process of how I created this piece. It was a challenge. It was a test of will and determination to bring this reality to life. And I hope that you enjoy this process as we go over all of the challenges and bumps in this road of creating my biggest commission to date and my most detailed piece to date. Just putting the last details on this piece. I am giving it to the museum this week, so just want to make sure I'm getting all the tiny details because I really want to capture this correctly. And I want this to be, I just wanted to tell the story of what it's supposed to tell, really. I don't know where it's gonna be hung, so I'm just gonna go ahead and paint the bottom. It doesn't have to be too detailed. I just want it to not look like this because it looks a mess. It's crazy also how much I've grown as an artist with just this one piece. Like, I've learned so much about myself and how much I'm willing to do for my ideas and my thoughts to come into fruition. Before, I would sell myself short a lot. I mean, just look at how this all started. So I got my email back about what the ladies liked from the museum, so I went ahead and did another coat of gesso because I'm actually going to turn the canvas the other direction, and I'm going to do a second coat of gesso before I sand it down and start on the painting.
What's best artist?
What'd you say?
You're the world's best artist.
You're so sweet. Thank you.
Because you are the world's best artist.
I am? Well, as long as you see it, then I believe it 100%. Thank you.
Oh, I went down fake.
Nope, keep doing that one. You're doing good. Just use what's there.
I thought I had to dip this.
Alright, so another coat of gesso done. But also don't forget the sides. So I'm gonna do the sides. My daughter kind of did it, but we're gonna go back over it. And now she did a really good job. Everybody, say good job in the comments. I didn't record this, but I was just doing a little study of, I should not grab it. I was doing a little study of water lilies because that is actually going to be in the big piece. For longer than I'd care to admit, I have been living a lie. I have been so scared of something. Well, not just something. I have been scared to test the limits of my own capabilities because the fear of failing. But how far can I really go if I don't push the limits? Good morning, everyone. I'm working on my painting right now. All right, so that's what she's looking like right now. I'm trying to work on her nose because I didn't like it, took it out. We'll fix that later. I want it to be layers of lily pads. I really liked the layers. That's what I'm gonna be working on today, making it feel like it has some depth before I start to add the actual colors and stuff. And it's only day one, so I'm gonna try to give myself some grace. You have to break the roof if you expect to see the sky. Our potential is actually limitless, and it doesn't take talent or experience to access it. All it takes is a change in mindset. I can't speak for you, but for me personally, I know that when I try new things, I get discouraged very easily, and I tend to give up on that thing that I was trying to do. Now, I'm not proud of that. I was very shameful of it, and I would just give up in silence. And because art is a very important part of my life, I do have this overprotective eye on it. I don't like to do things that make me hate the process of creating. So I tend to do things that I'm comfortable with, or I know I will be able to do without much struggle. Because if I push myself too far, I might just give up on creating altogether. I heard this quote recently that said, "If you do it with passion, there's no way you can fail." I was forgetting that. I was forgetting how important that actually is. If you have passion, and not temporary euphoria, but true passion, just the opportunity to do that thing should be enough. Now, there's always going to be something that we can learn from, and the desire to improve is more than justified. Even the greatest artists of all time still learned and evolved throughout their careers. But at the heart of it all was passion. It was that passion that drove some of them to go crazy. Now, I'm not saying to do all that and end up in an unhealthy obsession, but really think hard about what actually brings that kind of passion to your life. I feel the most passion during my process at the stage where it's just about to take form, but it still looks like a mess of color, right as most people would look at it and say, "I think you messed up." And I can't seem to figure out what you're painting. That moment, I learned that that's when I have to keep going. You are on the cusp of a breakthrough. I have the base, what am I trying to say? I have the underpainting of the rocks done. It's gonna be like you're looking down into the water, so those are gonna be under the water. Obviously, to do that, it's really just gonna be about shadows and highlights and making that pop more. Like over here, like the shadow, like obviously the rocks underneath it. So yeah, that's what she's looking at right now. I'm super excited, and I'm gonna let this dry and then I will come back to it here in a second. The same goes for so many things in life, from wealth and fitness to even your mental health. Growth is very uncomfortable. And through that discomfort, you could blossom into something you didn't even realize was possible. I mean, it's called growing pains for a reason. When you start to feel that pain, embrace it. That's a great sign that your passion is leading you to the next step of your journey. This is where I'm going to leave it today. I painted quite a bit of rocks. I'm actually really proud of myself for all the rocks that I painted, but I need a break. It does kind of go against all of our human instincts though. Pain equals danger, and most of the time, our fight or flight kicks in, and it's so easy to flight. It's so easy to say we gave it our all because going through more pain and suffering just doesn't make sense to us, especially when our day-to-day life gives us more than our share of heartbreak and pain. But our dreams and passions are worth the fight. Our dreams are worth the pain. Our lives are worth the effort of putting our passions first. That's such a big thing in this piece right now that I've been struggling with is the shadows of the lily pads versus the water, to make sure that it looks like it's hovering over top. Obviously, that'll be a shadow thing. So I just want to practice that in my sketchbook really quick so that when I go back to painting that later, I'll be able to use that and implement it to the piece. I did do that to one already. I was wondering why this one looked like it was floating so well. And it's because the shadow, it's bigger. So I'm gonna try to do that to the rest of them and see if I can get it to look just a little bit better. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to re-sketch her nose because she does not have one. I want to need you. Alright.
I keep making so many freaking messes. So I'm gonna put another tart down. Because I can't stop, guys, I can't. All my palettes are dirty, but am I gonna let that stop me? No, I'm not. I'm gonna clean this one in a little bit.
Not everything about the process of growth is glamorous. Sometimes we have to embrace the ugly and be grateful for it in order to move to the new place we are meant to be. That's not just about art, but in life. This past year was the first year that I felt like I started not only to take accountability of my actions and where they have landed me, but also making the decision to do something about it. I felt stuck for so long in my life because I didn't realize that I was even capable of more. I would make excuses and say, I'm trying my best, but I wasn't. I wasn't truly, because I was still comfortable.
I like the trajectory that it's going. This is the definition of trust the process, because I tried to do a different technique. I didn't like how it was coming out, so I started over and over and over. This still isn't done, and this is just the first lily pad, but I do want to start this one because there's going to be a flower on that one. So I just want to make sure that like I start that process so I can kind of gauge what I want to do with that flower. There's going to be one over here too, which but I want to do this one because it'll be the biggest. But I also put more shadows on the rocks, and I feel like that made it stand out even more. And I think I'm gonna start, because I still haven't finished the rocks, so I might take some time to finish painting the rocks so that way I can go back over it with more shadow, and hopefully it will turn out correctly.
If I was truly trying my best, I would have pushed past the point of comfort. I mean, if you look at any athlete, when they are going hard, and I mean really pushing their limits, you can see visibly how intense and uncomfortable they are. Like a long distance marathon, for instance. By the end, they are passing out, or maybe even getting sick at the finish line. Now, I know my situation and most of yours doesn't need physical training to be better, but it definitely got me thinking about what my best looks like and how I can use that discomfort to be better. This piece was definitely training me for that. I tried so many new techniques and subject matter to get the job done. And I have to be honest, for a lot of it, I was going in blind. I didn't know how to do it, but I knew if I didn't try, I would never learn. And that was so scary. I wouldn't normally do that on a commission piece, but I knew that for me to feel proud of my art hanging in a museum, I needed to actually do my best and learn to make mistakes comfortably so I can grow from them. That's one of the things I love about painting. For the most part, there is no permanent consequences. If I make a mistake, I just take it out or paint over it. But sometimes I don't know if I have the knowledge to fix the mistakes, and that is actually when the fear sets in. But the best way to face your fears is head on. I know, so many cliche lines in this video, but it's true. And I'm not just telling this to you, but to me too. I wish I would have told myself this more during my creating process. Instead of worrying about the outcome, just focus on the journey. I mean, that's what this piece is all about. It wasn't until I got about halfway that everything shifted. And it was all because of a simple change in mindset.
Alright, so I'm gonna leave it I'm gonna leave it here for today. I got a lot done. I have been painting literally all day. It's like almost 6 o'clock and I started like around 9 or 10. So I got a lot done. I think I'm gonna start her face tomorrow just by looking at her. Everything is coming together and I haven't really done anything to her face because I'm not sure really what I'm gonna do.
I am a strong advocate of it's not if you make art, but what kind of art do you make? There's so many kinds of ways we as people express ourselves. And my experience is going to drastically be different than yours and yours from Tom, Sally, or Sue. It's only natural that the way we express ourselves and the art we make is going to differ as well. I got to a point where I thought about the original reference and just looked at it. Just Breathe is the title of that. Why was I getting so worked up about the talent of it all when my main goal is to embrace the process? I create to relax my mind and my anxiety. I've said this before, that if your art starts to induce your anxiety, it's time to put the paintbrush down and walk away. And I did for days and days, 4 to be exact. And during that time, I realized that I wasn't trying to get better and push myself for me, but for other people's interpretation of me. I was nervous that what if people don't like my art? Or what if they don't think that it's good enough to be here? Like I said in the beginning, art is very important to me, and getting burnt out was a huge fear for me if I pushed myself too hard. But no, it's not pushing myself hard that would burn me out. It's doing it for the wrong reasons. Because again, if you have true passion, there is no way you can fail. And that completely changed everything for me. It doesn't matter if people like my art. I'm making it for me. Now I know this is a commission, so it does kind of matter how my client views it, but they commissioned it from me. The proof is already there that I am good enough. And the process of creating is my only job. Not to worry about anything else. My job is to enjoy the process. And that means enjoying the challenges that come with it. I'm a very competitive person, and I like using it as a game. So I was telling myself, let's see how well you can blend the rocks, or let's see how well you can make the curls curl. And before I knew it, I was enjoying not only the process, but in turn, the art. The art is just a representation of the process, and the fun that I was having was becoming clear in the final. That may sound silly to some, that I had to do that. But when my mind starts to give me reasons why I can't do something, I have to get creative with ways I can tell my mind that I can. My art is my story to tell, and I was forgetting that. I was getting caught up in other people's art too, and comparing my art to their art. Well, like I said, we all live different experiences, so all of our art is going to be different, and comparison is the thief of joy. How can anyone call my art or your art bad when none of us have the same experience? And our art is a representation of how we see the world. You don't have a bad representation of that, just a different one. And like our life evolving over time, so will our art. I was gonna leave my commission face like this. When I first did it, I wasn't very happy with it. There were parts I loved, so I tried to focus on those parts and ignore the red flag details that were making my eyes twitch with frustration. I struggled with the nose a lot, as I typically do, but once I got past that, I was decently happy with her. That wasn't until I made the decision to focus more on the details and the rest of the painting that all of a sudden I realized the face looked out of place. And the amount of detail I was putting in was no longer represented in the face. I played it safe. And at the time, I thought that that was my best. Although I wasn't completely happy, I thought, well, this is my skill level, so act like it. But you're only as good as you allow yourself to be. When I decided to fix her face and go all in, I was so nervous. I was going to ruin my painting. I had grown comfortable with her face and I was about to disrupt that. I was having mixed feelings, but I knew I needed something to change because it just wasn't working and I was holding on to it out of comfort and not satisfaction. But in order for me to do my best work, I had to do it for me first and foremost. So I waited until I was in a good headspace and just got lost in the process of artistic expression. And I could not be more proud of what I was able to create because I did it for me and the expression that I wanted and the feelings that I had inside me. Success is scary, especially when you aren't used to it, but I am here to tell you that you are not only worthy of the things you want, but you are capable of getting them done. Yes, it will take hard work, and sometimes it may feel like you're going in circles and doing everything wrong. But this is your ugly stage, the stage where people can't see the vision, but you're still molding and mapping out exactly where you're destined to go. She is coming out so good. The water and like the ripples of the reflections, I'm obsessed. Sometimes I'm like, how did I do that? But I'm gonna finish the fish because I need to finish that. And then her lips, something about it is off, so I'm gonna change it and make them a little bit darker. And then I'll have to do the lilies, and that's pretty much it. So if you're at a point in your life where you feel like you aren't happy with the results, something needs to change. It might be time to push yourself to the next level of who you're supposed to be. You are truly amazing and have so much potential right at your fingertips. You just have to be willing to trust yourself and believe that you are capable of accessing it and making it happen. I've been actually having a really hard time with this flower. I'm really scared about that one, but like these are the last things pretty much of this piece, so I just need to mentally focus and get them done. So I think I have officially finished the majority of this. I'm gonna fix that down there and paint that really quick, but other than that, I think she's pretty much finished. And now we're here putting the finishing touches on this piece, and I'm just so grateful. I'm so very grateful. If I can do it, I know you can do it. It is such a challenge, but I know that you're capable of pushing yourself to be the best you can be, because you're worthy of it. And I am so proud of you. Tomorrow we are going to give this to the museum, so I will hang it and do all that tomorrow. And yeah, I'm excited. I cannot believe we're already here at the end. Like, that's crazy.